The Epstein Survivor Press Conference yesterday wasn't just historic because it represented victims of sexual abuse at the hands of friends of Donald Trump trying to reclaim their dignity. It was also a stinging indictment of Trump and the Trump administration, because they haven't just been abused by Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein and the powerful men that raped them. They have been and are continuing to be abused by Trump and the Trump administration, who victimizes them all over again, making them a political pawn instead of standing shoulder to shoulder with them and helping them get a measure of dignity and their life back. And Donald Trump just continues to press his losing hand of bashing the survivors, bashing the victims, and bashing the Democrats. It's not working. It's not working in the polls. It's not working in real life. And it's depraved. And it's just another symptom of the I don't know if he's got a brain worm or we're just watching the total collapse of a human being in real time on television in Donald Trump. He has no executive function in the brain any longer. Let's talk about what a normal, humane human being would do, having either watched the press conference or having it reported to him. He would say, "I've heard your voices. I understand your pain. I will release today. I'm signing an executive order to order the release immediately, to put up on a website for public review every stitch of the Epstein files, the mountain of evidence that was reviewed by my FBI, the mountain of evidence that was reviewed by my Department of Justice will now be made publicly available." It's what I said when I was campaigning. It's what I say now. No, instead, Donald Trump has bashed the victims in real time just following the press conference. We have to follow up now with the Epstein scandal, which is threatening to tear down this administration. But get in line. There are so many other scandals that are threatening to tear down the Trump administration. We're going to have to number them. RFK Jr., Jeffrey Epstein, the tariff scheme, the cryptocurrency scheme where Donald Trump's lined his pockets with over $5 billion. Where do we start? Where do we end? Let's pick it up right here on Legal AF Thursday. I'm Michael Popok. Take a minute and hit the free subscribe button. We put up on our live, and you can catch it there right now, the entirety of the press conference here on Legal AF. I don't think any thinking human being with any ounce of compassion in them, I don't think they could avoid being moved by what was said by the victims. Let me show you one clip in case you missed it.
My name is Annie Farmer, and I was 16 years old when I was flown to New Mexico to spend a weekend with Epstein and Maxwell. That same year, 1996, my sister, Maria Farmer, reported what happened to me there, along with reporting her own assault at their hands and their theft of sensitive photos of herself, of me, and our younger sister that she had taken for her work as a figurative painter. I am now 46 years old. 30 years later, we still do not know why that report wasn't properly investigated, or why Epstein and his associates were allowed to harm hundreds, if not thousands, of other girls and young women. We have never been told whether those images were found when they discovered a large amount of child sexual abuse material on his property. As a psychologist, I understand that when the systems meant to protect us recreate the abuse cycle, the betrayal that occurs can be just as damaging as the original trauma. This happens when survivors of these crimes are not believed, when our well-being is not weighed as heavily as those who have more resources or more privilege, and when perpetrators of these crimes are given a platform rather than the survivors of them. For so many years, it felt like Epstein's criminal behavior was an open secret. Not only did many others participate in the abuse, it is clear that many were aware of his interest in girls and very young women and chose to look the other way because it benefited them to do so. They wanted access to his circle and his money. Their choice to align with his power left those of us who had been harmed by this man and his associates feeling very isolated. I could never have imagined being here today and this chorus of support that we have all received.
All they've asked for is for Donald Trump to step forward and support them. But he can't do that because he wants to make it a hoax. He wants to make them a hoax. He wants to make it a Democratic hoax like the Russia hoax because he thinks he'll get some political mileage out of it. But that's not what the American people think. Let me play a clip of Donald Trump bashing the victims.
Democrat hoax that never ends. You know, it reminds me a little of the Kennedy situation. We gave him everything over and over again, more and more and more, and nobody's ever satisfied. From what I understand, I could check, but from what I understand, thousands of pages of documents have been given. But it's really a Democrat hoax because they're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation since I've been president.
He has no political handlers. He's got no political strategists. They couldn't possibly be telling him to continue to bash the victims. It's a losing hand, especially when you're a president that's already been adjudged a sex abuser, where dozens of women have come out, some under oath in court, and said that he sexually attacked them, where the infamous Access Hollywood tape came out in which he said right before he met with a female celebrity that he gets to grab them by their genitalia because he's a celebrity and jam his tongue down their throat. That person, who also was best friends with convicted child sex traffickers, should not be siding with the child sex traffickers. But of course he is, and he has, because he's done some sort of political calculus that of course is failing him. He's terrible at this right now. That's why the polls are eating him alive. And he said, the best way to do it is blame the Democrats. That's not working because these are real life victims up on that stage. And this was a bipartisan, this press conference was hosted in a bipartisan way by Representative Massey, Republican from Kentucky of all places, Representative Mo Khanna from California, and Marjorie Taylor Greene decided she wanted to get some airtime. All roiling, sticking their finger in the eye of Donald Trump. Now, Massey and Khanna are also the sponsors of a major bill to have each and every page of the Epstein files released to the American people to be considered by the House. It's stuck in committee. How do you get it out of committee? There's a rarely used procedural motion. It's called the discharge petition. It needs to be signed by 218 members of the House. They're only 4 short right now. They've got all 212 Democrats. They need 6 more. So add Marjorie Taylor Greene and add Massey. And there's at least one other. They're busy trying to collect those votes. In the meantime, Donald Trump is trying to distract and use the Oversight Committee and Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, to do it. There's an obvious coordination between the White House and the Speaker of the House. And what they've decided they want to do, and it's not working, is to try to spoon feed and shove down our throat the bare amount of documents they can to try to end the Epstein scandal. But the more they try to end the Epstein scandal, the more it blows up in their face. Primarily because MAGA, that conspiracy fueling base of MAGA, won't let this go. And neither, of course, will fair-minded people and free-thinking people who see the victims, feel for the victims, sympathize or empathize with the victims, and want to see the justice be done. And the victims were also a counterweight to what we watched for several weeks earlier, where we had the Ghislaine Maxwell rehabilitation tour going on before our very eyes, led by David Oscar Marcus, the lawyer for Ghislaine Maxwell, led by Todd Blanche, the number 2 in the Department of Justice, led by Donald Trump. Let's rehabilitate her. She's a victim too. Because they're trying to set her up for a pardon. They already gave her, as one victim called it, they sent her to Fed Spa. They sent her to a Hollywood type prison camp in Texas. All because they want to try to reward her. We all read And I did an overview of the 300-page transcript of her testimony, which I'm sure sickened the victims, because she spent a fair amount of time blaming the victims and calling them prostitutes, saying that a 17-year-old Virginia Joffrey, who committed suicide in April, was one of his most famous or infamous victims, that she was effectively a prostitute that seduced Epstein. I mean, I had to take a moment and go take a shower and then come back and do the rest of the recording. It was such a slimy set of testimony. So what's going to happen next? Trump's using the Oversight Committee and the Speaker of the House to spoon feed and jam down our throat the smallest amount of documents possible. You'll hear reporting, oh, the Oversight Committee is on top of this and they're going to do they're not going to do a rigorous anything. Mike Johnson met in secret with the victims before the press conference for 2 hours. Nothing's going to come out of it because it's not in public. He should be holding hearings. They should be testifying at these hearings. Instead, we're getting these closed-door depositions of Bill Barr and Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton and James Comey. This is like Donald Trump's, top 10 hits. That's all this isn't about getting to the bottom of the rich and powerful that abused girls. This is about giving the American people as little as possible in order to try to make this scandal go away, and it's not working. Not when the same kind of gang of 10 MAGA Tea Party Republicans like Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene have jumped off sides again. This is the same group that opposed McCarthy as the speaker, where it took like 11 or 12 votes to get him to be the Speaker of the House the first time around. This is the same breakaway renegade republic of Republicans that are now have adopted and have raised the flag to support the victims effectively against Donald Trump. And again, it's not helping him when he bashes the victims. One of the victims just said, he said he would support us. Support us. It would take it would be in his best interest, even if he wasn't a judge sex abuser, a depraved misogynist, a woman hater. Just if he was just a political animal, the right move for him to make right now, for Trump to make right now, is to stand at a podium and announce he signed the executive order for that bill, to release all of the documents and meet them in the White House. And take the story away from the Democrats if he's so concerned that it's a hoax being exploited by the Democrats. Then take the story away. Become the hero of that story. But he won't do it because he's mentally incapacitated, because he's committing political suicide before our very eyes. We'll continue to follow it right here because it's important. On Legal AF, I'm Michael Popok. Hit the free subscribe button. Come over to Legal AF Substack where we post there's been 7 different wins against the Trump administration in the last 8 days. We post all of the orders, all of the motions there for you to read. So until my next report, I'm Michael Popok. I'm Michael Popok, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Midas Touch's Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popok Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popok Firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popok firm today at 1-877-POPOK-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopokfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popok firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way.